What's up, guys? Moonlabs Nightwind here, with a full album collection. Well, the first part of it. Anyway, it's been about 2 years since I've done a full album collection, and a lot of it's changed. Unfortunately, I had a time where I had to sell quite a bit of it to make ends meet, and it really sucks. But I've gotten a lot of it back. The stuff that I was struggling to find as is, didn't go anywhere. Some of the more common stuff did, uh, but um, it's I think it's at a good place again, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. Uh, this episode, we're going to be going through the A's, the B's, maybe the C's, depending on time. Let's just go ahead and get right into it because there's a lot we got to cover. So, starting out with the A's, thankfully I have this nice shelf to hold all this in now. We have Abigail Williams with In the Absence of Light and Becoming. Next, we have Abigor with Channeling the Quintessence of Satan. Next up, we have AFI with Sing the Sorrow and Burials. Next, we have folk metal, Cascadian black metal, whatever you want to call them. It's a perfect album. Agalox The Mantle. Unfortunately, still the only thing I own by them. I cannot find for the life of me anywhere else. Next, we have a French black metal / shoegaze band Alcé with, I'm gonna completely butcher this because I don't speak French. Souvenir d'un autre monde, I believe is how it's pronounced. Then Le Voyage de l'Âme. And thankfully this one's in English, Shelter. Next we have the Amity Affliction with Misery. Then we have Amon Amarth, the mighty Amon Amarth, with Once Sent from the Golden Hall. This is the 2009, I believe, reissue, with the full album, and then the full album live from the Bloodshed over Bacchum on CD. And next up, well, I just completely skipped a bunch of it. Next up we have Fate of Norns with Odin on Our Side. This is the deluxe edition with the bonus disc of some live tracks and some demos. We have Twilight of the Thunder God, again the deluxe edition with the bonus DVD, live at Summer Breeze 2007. We have Surtur Rising, which is probably my favorite one. One of my favorites, definitely, next to Once Sent from the Golden Hall, and it has the bonus DVD of the entire Bloodshed over Bacchum performance, where they performed their first 2 albums live, or first 4 albums, live. And then we have the newest one, Berserker. And this is going to be more difficult than I thought. I'll be better prepared for the next part. Next up, we have one of my favorite bands of all time, Amorphous, with the Corellian Isthmus. Tales from a Thousand Lakes. Elegy. The My Cantale EP. Tuonela. Am Universum. Far from the Sun. Eclipse. Silent Waters. Skyforger. The Beginning of Times. Let's just do this and then I can pause the recording and prepare this better. Circle, the deluxe edition with the bonus DVD. Under the Red Cloud. And the most recent one, Queen of Time. and I'm going to pause the recording really quick so I can get myself better situated. All right, I think I've got myself a little bit better situated now. So moving on, last was Amorphous. Next we are at Anathema with Judgment. You'll have to bear with me as I'm having to put all these back. I pulled them out and stacked them on my desk so I'm not reaching in and out. Then we have A Fine Date to Exit and Unnatural Disaster. Next we have Anctoria, the only album they released, at least under this name. They did have to change names because a couple members had left. And if you know what that band is, let me know down below, because I'd be really interested to check it out. But Anctoria, God Has a Plan for Us All. Next we have a couple of my favorite independent artists, Anna Blue and Damien Dawn, on right here on YouTube. Discovered them way back in 2010 when So Alone and Your Heart came out. Been huge fans ever since, and I'm really sad I don't have their new stuff yet, but hopefully that'll change soon. But we have their new album, or their first album, I can't say new anymore, In Two Minds, and it is signed by both of them, and still very happy to own this. Next we have Apocalyptica with Worlds Collide. We have Ashes Divide, the only album that Billy Howard has released under this name, of course, of A Perfect Circle fame. Hopefully that'll change soon. I think he said he's getting some more material put together for this. But Ashes Divide, keep telling myself it's all right. Next we have The Autumn Offering with Requiem. We have Avenged Sevenfold with Nightmare. Next we have The Mighty Ayreon, and I need to grab a couple of these from over here, because they're way too big to even fit on the top of this case. We have The Final Experiment, Actual Fantasy, this is the revisited edition, Into the Electric Castle, The Universal Migrator Part 1, The Dream Sequencer, and Part 2, Flight of the Migrator. The Human Equation. This is the deluxe box set with the, of course, the album and then the bonus DVD as well. Next we have 01011001, or as Arian he just calls it 01, I believe. But there is that, the deluxe edition with the bonus DVD. And I did have to, when I bought this one, the trays were completely detached from the paneling, and I did have to super glue it back, but worth it. I don't care. Worth the cheap price I paid for it. Next we have the very first Ayreon album I ever owned, The Theory of Everything. Again, deluxe edition with the bonus DVD. Then we have, these are the big ones, the Theater Equation. This is the 5-disc art book. Has a Blu-ray, 2 DVDs, and 2 CDs, and it is signed by Arian down here at the bottom. Of course, where they perform, where they did a theater performance of The Human Equation live. I guess he doesn't consider it the first time Ayreon's performed live, but this was originally fan-made, and once Arian and a lot of the original singers found out about it, they really got behind it. So very cool to have this. And the most recent studio album from Ayreon, The Source, and this one is also signed by Arian, and this one is also 5 discs. Of course, the first 2 are the main album, the second 2 are the instrumental album, and then the DVD with all the behind-the-scenes stuff. I unfortunately missed the Ayreon Universe yearbook, and I'm going to try and get the Electric Castle live one. But that is it for the A's, so that means it's time to move on to the B's, and we start with one of my favorite bands in this lettering, Baroness. We have Red Album, Blue Record, we have Yellow and Green, the Monstrous Double Album, and this is the deluxe digibook with the expanded artwork by John Baisley himself. Of course, he does all the artwork for the band, but that just has like more expansive artwork. Then we have Purple and their 2019 album, Gold and Gray. Next up, we have the mighty Bathory. And I am just surprised I own any of this at all. Slowly finding these pieces. I have 5 from Bathory, I believe. 3 of which I found at McKay's. 2 of which I found at a local record store back in my hometown. But we have The Return, also called The Return of Darkness and Evil. We have Under the Sign of the Black Mark, Blood, Fire, Death, and Hammerheart. All right. Oh, also forgot Nordland 1. I said 5 and I only showed 4. Next we have Beardfish with plus 4626 Comfort Zone. And this is, I don't know if this is a deluxe edition or a standard edition, but it also has the historical document number 1, outtakes and demos. And it even has its own separate booklet. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, this was the last album Beardfish put out before they broke up. Next, we have the almighty Behemoth, starting with Sventvith, Storming Near the Baltic. I hope I pronounced that right. Grom, the deluxe edition of Evangelion with the bonus making of DVD, and The Satanist. Next we have Between the Buried and Me with The Silent Circus. Let's see, I believe this will fit in here. There we go. We have Colors Live, The Great Misdirect with this is the deluxe edition. Unfortunately, when I bought it, the slipcase was missing. But it has the bonus DVD that's actually double-sided. The one side of the making of and behind the scenes, and the other is the 5.1 surround sound. Next, we have the Parallax EP, the Hypersleep Dialogues, and then the Parallax 2 Future Sequence. We have Coma Ecliptic. And then we have their most recent album, which is a double album as well. We have Automata 1 and Automata 2. Or Automata, however you want to pronounce it. Next, we have one a bit different than everything else. I really love this artist, though. I will not deny it. We have Billie Eilish with Don't Smile at Me, her debut EP. And her debut full-length album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Am I a hype beast? Absolutely not. She makes great music. Next, we have The Birthday Massacre, another artist I've been slowly finding. We have their first album, Nothing and Nowhere. The Looking Glass, I found out this isn't an EP, but it's just a single. It might as well be an EP. It has enough remixes and a couple bonus tracks. So it's an EP to me, but it's not their first official EP. Then we have Pins and Needles. The Imaginary Monsters EP. Hide and Seek. And until March, Under Your Spell, because they have a new album coming out this year that I am very, very much excited for. Next, we have the Black Dahlia Murder with Nocturnal. Next, we have Blut aus Nord with, first up, the Mystical Beast of Rebellion. This is the reissue with the bonus disc with chapters 7, 8, and 9, or they're all called Chapter 7, but every track on here is just called Chapter, insert track number here. So, Mystical Beast of Rebellion, Blut aus Nord. Then we have Blut aus Nord with The Work Which Transforms God, and then There's also an EP in this as well. Thematic Emanation of Archetypal Multiplicity. Try saying that 3 times fast. Then we have Odinist, The Destruction of Reason by Illumination. 777 Sects, and that's SECTS. Please don't age gate me, YouTube. Then we have their most, or not their most recent. They had another one last year that I completely forgot about, by the way. But this is the one before that. Deus Salutis Mei, I believe is how it's pronounced. Next, we have Breaking Benjamin with the So Cold EP. We Are Not Alone. Phobia. This is actually the version with the acoustic version of So Cold, the re-recording of Rain, and then the acoustic version of The Diary of Jane. Dear Agony. Dark Before Dawn. And their most recent album, if you can call it an album, you remember when Evanescence did Synthesis a few years back? It's basically their version of that, but this one's a lot better in my opinion. Aurora. Next we have Bring Me the Horizon with Suicide Season. Sempiternal. And their most recent 2019 album, Ammo. And then, finishing up the bees and this video, we have Burzum. We have, which one's this? Hivis Lyset Taros. I believe I pronounced that right. Don't know. I don't speak Norwegian. Philosophum. Fallen. And The Ways of Yore. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you're excited for the next few parts. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.